last talk is going to be Nathan Pankrat's lab. Travis Rogers and Spencer Kelley are going to be presenting on the new software they're developing in Nathan's lab called GenReport, which facilitates rapid literature review for classification of genetic variants. So Travis and Spencer.
Hi, I'm Spencer Kelley, and this is Travis Rogers, and we work in the lab of Dr. Nathan Pankrat's developing software tools to aid it with working with genomics data. We're here today to tell you about GenReport, a software project funded by the division of the MPG division, and the goal of GenReport, which is very much still in its infancy, is to develop free tools that will help both clinicians and researchers determine more efficiently if there's evidence that a genetic variant of unknown significance is more likely to be pathogenic or benign. I'll start off by talking about the goals of the project, and then Travis, the lead developer of GenReport, will talk about how the project has developed over time and touch briefly on the future of the project. It's important to mention again that the software is free and all the tools that we release will be publicly available at genreport.umn.edu. While we know of one service, Mastermind, that is operating in this niche, it costs $6,000 a year for a single user license, and our current goal in the literature review and automation space isn't to be the most fully featured or the largest product, but rather to create something that would be accessible to many clinicians and researchers and would give some powerful tools that are free, open for collaboration, and easy to access while at the same time boosting the visibility of our division. So right now, it can take days for a genetic counselor or a research technician to comb through the available literature for the variants they may have found in a patient or whatever they may be searching for. It often starts with a PubMed search for a gene name or the variant that they're looking for, and then they have to go through and scan dozens of articles, relying heavily on their speed reading skills to make sure they don't miss anything, to see if a particular variant has been reported before. This challenge is compounded by the fact that the same genetic variant can be written in several different ways. So take, for example, the famous factor V Leiden. You could see that as an RS ID, or you could see it as a genomic position, but that would be different depending on what genome build you're looking at. Or it could be an amino acid change, but the codon number could be totally different depending on what isoform it's referring to. Or finally, you could see a nucleotide change, but that's going to, again, be different depending on what sequence is being referenced again, a reference genome or even just some supplementary sequence. All of these refer to the same variant, but the journal article that you're looking at is probably only going to mention one of them, and your chances of finding it, who knows? So one of our goals is to have software that can automatically scan a paper, find anything that looks like it might be a variant, automatically convert it into a standard format, and then report all the aggregated information on a single variant or the variants of interest you're looking at, and give that back to the user. So the user can then focus on reviewing just these selected articles that line up with variants that they're interested in. And they can go through a much smaller list of articles that are much more likely to be relevant to what they're looking at, and more quickly find the evidence they need, like if the variant segregates with the trait in a family, or if a functional assay has previously been performed on the protein. However, once this is done, the next step, it would be really nice if this knowledge could be saved somehow, so the next time someone's looking for the same variant, they don't have to repeat the literature search, even within the selected literature we've pulled up. So that could help even more. So sometimes now, if the genetic counselor or researcher is lucky, there might be a database like this database for the ABCD1 gene association with adrenoleukodystrophy. But these databases aren't always well known, they aren't necessarily up to date, and they're not necessarily particularly easy to use if the format of what they have doesn't match the format of what you have. So if you're looking at a VCF file that has positions and alternate alleles, that same information is contained here in the ALD database, but you're not going to be able to do a quick text search to find what you're looking for. You need to kind of read each line, and that doesn't work very well. So now I'll hand over to Travis, and he'll tell you about the development of GenReport so far, and he'll give you a bit of a demo of some of the tools that we use now. Although, actually, since the internet isn't working, he'll give you some screenshots of the tools we use now.
Thanks. So the first phase of the project was to create a database-driven service similar to what Spencer mentioned, Mastermind. And that database would have academic papers, it would have variants, and it would have clinical significance information about those variants. We did proof of concept for a few different sources. We did web scraping. We actually did web scraping for that XALD database that we just looked at. We looked at crowdsourcing, so a user would have an academic paper of interest. They would upload it to see what's in there, parse the variants out, and then whatever we could learn from that paper in terms of natural language processing, we would save that information. So we wouldn't have the paper, but we would at least have what we learned from it, and then that data could be accessible to other people. And then we did additional lookups from prominent databases like dbSNP. So that was a proof of concept. We ran into a problem where we didn't find a good way to scale the database up for a public website because it was a free service and we don't have ongoing funding. We couldn't pay for access to academic papers to create a robust database. We'd be depending on people on crowdsourcing, and that could cause problems where a user goes to the website and they don't really know what's in it or how up to date it is because it's crowdsourced. So we didn't want to create something that's misleading. Someone thinks they're getting a comprehensive or up-to-date search, and they're really just getting a couple things that other people had added. So the next phase of the project was to take some of the tools and utilities that we had developed for the proof of concept and put those on a website so that even though we don't have the database part worked out, we could at least give people access to some of these utilities that might be able to speed up their work. So this is the home page for that website. It's genreport.umn.edu. The workflow is a text, or you can paste text in any format. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. And we parse variants from it, or you can upload a PDF. Presumably, it would be an academic paper. We parsed that. Those are two entry points to the same workflow, so we're parsing variants, and then we're converting those variants to a standard genomic format. I think we're doing build 37, but you can switch between 37 or 38. And then we do some additional lookups to annotate that data, and then we display the results in a compact table so you can see a lot of data at once, and you can export that table to whatever spreadsheet software you'd like. So I would give you a live demo, but I can't. I put some screenshots on here. So this is supposed to be intentionally look like gobbledygook, just to make it harder to parse. But you can see down here, this is what the results would look like. They parse these 3 cDNA variants out and an RSID. And then it has status, just whether we recognize it as a variant or text hits. We give its information against a standard genomic reference. So they're all referenced right now against build 37. And then if we have clinical significance information, we give that as well. And then from PDF, you upload a PDF. This is an academic paper. Found a bunch of RSIDs in there. It's really fast. So like I think for 200 RSIDs or something, it's maybe a second. So let me see where I am here. That's the end. So having different inputs is nice because we could support some different use cases that were for different utility use. So this could be useful for someone who has a batch of variants and they just want to convert them to the same build. Like these, you might want to convert these all to build 37 or build 38. So this is a really fast way to do that in a batch. You might have 200 RSIDs and you want to get all the chromosome positions really fast, or get some basic annotations on clinical significance. So you can do that really fast. Also, if someone's coming with documents that they want to parse, that's another nice thing that's not offered by a lot of services. As far as the future of the project, it largely depends on what we get funding to do, but some things that we're considering are developing the database feature so that we can release it. That could be finding a better way to get access to papers or working out the bugs with crowdsourcing, or the idea I like a little bit better is scaling the database feature down to an individual or a team level where an individual or team could upload whatever they want, papers or data, and then their team can access that data using our tools. So And one nice thing about that is sometimes the data you have is actually, like with the XALD website, that has data on there that has unpublished papers and a variety of things that you're not going to find from some of these bigger services. So if you can curate that yourself, you might actually be getting a search that you can't get from a big service. And then we're also looking at just making the tools that we have more robust in terms of the number of different kinds of variants that we can identify and parse from papers. There's some natural language processing considerations there because the accessions aren't always in the same place as the variants, and they can be all mixed around. So, and then also looking up additional information just to make this table bigger with more annotations or more data from other places to save you time from going website to website. So again, the tools that we have currently released are freely available at genreport.umn.edu. That should be on the program. And we encourage you to check them out, give us feedback, especially if you think of something that would make the tool more useful to you, please let us know. And that's all we have. Thanks. Any questions?
So,
all right.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Your clinical significance column,
Yeah.
which database are you scraping the data from?
That's from NCBI. So that's right now it's just coming from TVSnap. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely a piece that we would look to develop out more and customize. That was
Right.
kind of the basis for this first run.
Yeah, this is very much kind of prototype or beta.
I have a little question.
Sure.
So I'm assuming, like, I think from what you said, you can't, I mean, ideally you just love to search all the PDFs that are out there, right? But
Right.
because of licenses, that's a limitation, right? In
Right.
terms of cost.
Yep.
But when users are uploading this, do you have a batch upload? Because a lot of times, like, you might just, get 20 and 30 PDFs, and is that something that you have?
I think right now it's
So one at a time?
I haven't worked on this in months, but I'm pretty sure that right now it's just one PDF at a time. That's actually a really easy thing to do in terms of
That's what I was thinking.
programming. But yeah, to answer your question, right now it's just one at a time, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.